November 23, 2022. Marcus Giovanni here. Tim Wieland, at Tim Wieland. YouTube handle by Marcus Giovanni at CBS for Tim. Now, this is all the digital content that this guy has. So, the difference between a mortal world and all the bloviated, where they went to school, all that stuff, what does it really amount to? What is all their experience? And when you think about Tim and trying to push the why Denver needs a white man mayor, it's totally fucking ridiculous. You hear me, Timmy? I mean, I don't know where you get your education. I know where. But in the digital world, you don't have no education. And all your IT people doesn't, the sweat off their backs doesn't give you inequity, doesn't give you diversity, especially when you're using race instead of talking about the real issues. You dumbass. 25-year record high murders. You wear that hat, bro. You wear that hat. Hiding the Speer Amendment and all the other amendments that have been passed that's not followed. Just like the Sidewalk Amendment, everybody, this is what they do. They all humble brag and look at me, I'm the sidewalk king, I'm the sidewalk queen, and nothing gets fixed. We were supposed to have our fucking sidewalks fixed in 2015. Do you even live in Denver, Tim? You dumbass. I'm I'm indexing you, Timmy, because you are a democracy slut. You don't know what that is. Ask your IT people what's missing. Why is that? Why is that there? Do they have it? Do you have it on your um, internet when you Google search stuff? So what are you going to talk about the real issues that are choking Denver out? As long as you make your money, fuck everybody else. Timmy's making his dough. He's got his stacks. While he wrecks everybody else's and takes theirs. That's it. And then pushes the white man. Elections don't have nothing to do with white, black, or who you fucking. You heard me, Timmy? And so when you go and you bloviate, now you're indexed. Everything you say, everything you do, all your emails from the past, present, and future. Dogma, brother. Just what you've done, not talking to different candidates, people that can actually do what we say we can do. And so, guess what, Timmy? Me and you. How about you and me do raise some money for kids going to the octagon? Just me and you. And you can bring Ian Tafoya. You can bring Michael Kavanaugh. You can bring, who else? Anybody that's got to do with these elections. Especially you and Ian Tafoya. But right now, the push to hire a white mayor or a black mayor or a Latina mayor, or a black lesbian mayor. I mean, where does it stop? Is this where Denver's going? Are you guys going to index yourselves to the dark web? Because that's what's coming. That's what I do for my fucking job, Tim. All your IT people can't beat me. You can write all you want about me. I died a long time ago. I don't have nothing to lose. Nothing. I ain't got no money. I ain't got no house. I ain't got nothing. You got everything, Tim. You got a house. You got assets. And guess what? You're now the poster boy, Tim, of how you go from what you are to what you're going to be. And I'm the only one that can change it, Tim. So when you change your ways, you call me up and say, hey, G, why don't you teach us about City and County of Denver.us? Why don't you teach us how we can all love everybody and not just one buddy? You heard me, Tim? You're just a punk troll bitch, just like Ian Tafoya, Lisa Calderon, all your fucking trolls. It's all been indexed, man. I indexed you guys years ago. And on January 1, guess what? Dark web for you, Timmy, and you won't even know. But you'll know by your numbers. Because in the social credit system scores and rankings.com, which I was indexing and writing since 2014, openly, admittingly, China enacted. And this is stuff that you don't know, Tim, because you don't raise your knowledge bar to become better. Oh, I graduated from Colorado, University of Colorado, Denver. That don't mean shit if you ain't current. You're outdated, bro. You, Denver 7, KDVR, every one of you guys that have to deal with the money, the responsibility of the head honcho, the buck stops with you, bro, and all your news agencies. And when Wall Street finds out about Denver and the truth that you're all manipulating, and if we don't win this time, it don't matter. I'm done. We have content ready. I get to go retire. And I'll leave you all with the mess that you all created with all your fucking bloviated meta tag bullshit words and, why can't we have a white man mayor? What the fuck is wrong with you, Tim? Are you fucking stupid, bro? Come on, man. Tell me the truth. It's just me and you and artificial intelligence who's going to use your voice, brother, to follow you everywhere you go. Even if you think you're leaving your cell phone in your car, in your desk, you turn it off. These are flags that artificial intelligence uses to think that something might be wrong with you. Not going after you. Why would they want to do that, Tim? You're a good guy, right? You're talking about the next white mayor. Why don't you run for mayor, Tim? Because you know what, Tim? When you try to work and you see all those temp people, guess what? That's where you're going, bro. You and your entire family, if you're not careful. And I'm trying to open your eyes to the reality. And then with what you do with your education, and you realize that a fluke has arrived. And this fluke has power, and his people have power. I can walk away. I've already given my designation to the people that are getting ready to just unleash digitally on the current administration that will be indexed as an illegitimate government on April 4th. No matter what Paul Lopez and his group of fuck-ups, they're all fuck-ups, folks. They're gonna manipulate this election. Believe me. Just look how they're doing it. They're keeping the guy that can make things happen for everybody. But they only want to keep the people that are only happen for the Democratic Party of Denver. And the Democratic Party of Denver is about to fuck in the every citizen, everything that Mayor Speer built. This goes way higher than me. He's a white man, right? You guys shit all over him. That's what you did, Tim. By not talking about the Speer Amendment and not talking about the people that I've been fighting for that for 12 fucking years, Tim. And you think you're better than me, boy? Well, we'll just see, Tim. I'm ready to battle, brah. And guarantee this, Tim. Listen to me. You have a lot more to lose than me, boy. And artificial intelligence is going to do it, not me. I just provided the content. And now your voice is going to provide the rest of it. And all your contacts, all your node connections via text, out in the mortal world where there's nobody, just like people that you don't text and you don't email, you just talk to. And as long as you have your cell phone, or they have theirs, because that's called crosstalk indexing. And see, what Tim's going to do is him and his people are going to look at my stuff, and then they're going to do a story, and they think they're going to write it and take over the conversation. And Tim, that'll be the biggest mistake you make in your political, non-existing career. And you think about a guy like you who's going to come in and start talking about white guys being mayor. Why can't we have a white man? You're already a racist, dude. You can't tell with what you talk about. Because our elections, Tim, they're not based off the color of our skin or who we're fucking. You heard me? We're being the first fucking snowblower. Kelly Brow, really? Is that what you're putting your money behind? You all know. And it's funny because, Tim, I can go before a judge and show them some stuff that I'm not showing you, and you'd be fucked. And lawyers and judges, now they know. Now they know that the rule of law is on the World Wide Web. It's all been digitized. Digital records, following the Dewey Decimal System, where our hashtags, the social symbols, the retail social symbols of the @ that started a long time ago, folks, when you opened up your first fucking email. I've been doing this since 1996. I'm 63 years old. And I battled some scum people like you would not believe, young and old. And I finally realized what my destiny, what my journey is to wake up the fucking citizens of Denver and tell them what's coming. Because not even Tim or anybody from any of the other media outlets that all know each other and talk to each other and send emails and try to corrupt with other non-identified node connections that are 501(c)(3)s. That's their slush funds, folks. This is how they keep it all together, and yet they're all Democrats. That's that. Anybody know what the RICO Act is? Go look it up. They have no clue. It's going to just happen because artificial intelligence is going to steer the content to the right people when they're doing their investigation, and they're going to keep seeing this one algorithm in their fucking screens. And they're going to realize that they're indexed too. And everything they do, they're going to be held accountable. And you know how artificial intelligence takes care of people like you, Tim? It goes after your money. It just locks it. They can't find you. Where's Timmy? Where's Timmy? I can't find Timmy. Oh, where's Timmy? He's headed to the fucking dark web. Marcus Giavanni put him there, and he's the first one. And it was weird because when they started talking about white candidate mayor and not talking about our fucking crime rate or any of the realities to which we in the mortal world are suffering, and then they think they're going to bring it up on my fucking metaverse. This is my metaverse, Tim. You're a fucking bit player, punk. So go ahead and make your move, because the moves are already made against you, pal, in the digital world. This ain't no threat. I don't wish you harm. I do wish you financial instability. I do wish you total fucking brokeism. And whoever's connected to you, that's going to follow. And then it just gets watered down as the node connections to the people that are on all your contact list. They're like, you know, when you sign up an app and it says they have to have access to all your contacts, and you give it to them like you do with everybody that are app whores. App whores is where you have all these apps. Like I would never ever put a fucking CBS fucking app on my phone so you can suck my energy and find out what I'm doing. And this is what those apps do, folks. So you need to tell your kids, quit being app whores. See, you don't know what an app whore is because you're not even in that conversation. I'm in the creation and development of it. And I told everybody about the retail social symbols that I index. That's my job. And they all say, oh, why is he doing this? And they're IT people. Well, what the fuck are they going to take? Yeah, Giovanni's actually the fucking man. I mean, if I could do what he did, he wouldn't even be here. But they didn't. They went the other way. And in their own heads, they think they can keep bullshitting on the internet. And I'm here to tell you all to go fuck yourselves. I'm ready to battle, folks. Battle in the digital world where the cloud can look down on all my fucking allies and all my adversaries. And in this town, there's a lot of them. That line goes around the block about 10 times. But in the digital world, they're all wrapped around all the blocks. And these conversation blocks are what's going to destroy Tim and his news agency. Why China and other adversaries are buying up our farms. They're buying up our media. They're putting police stations in our cities. That's what China's doing, folks. But you don't hear Timmy because he's probably sucking the dong in China. Are you, Tim? Are you on that dong? Are you riding that bitch? You're a fucking tool, Tim. I don't like you. And so whatever you got planned for me, I will know. I already know. So you better tell all your media folks, y'all need to get in a room with me so we can fix this, because every one of the people that manages, the sales managers, station managers, president, CEO of Denver, nothing else, because we're non-political. That's the law. and I indexed it. And to watch all these people still try to bullshit like Paul Lopez, changing our fucking elections. We didn't have to change it. Our military are more regimented than anybody. They're not going to forget to put their votes in. And the ones that they keep saying, oh, they forget. No, they ain't fucking voting, man. Okay? Let's not bullshit nobody no more. And I already know this. And if I was in front of a judge, I could show him some fucking whoop-de-woo. Some highly advanced algorithms that would blow your fucking mind, Tim, instead of you blowing everybody else. I don't like you, Tim. I never have liked you. And I don't hate you. I don't wish you ill well. I wish you financial instability. I'm going to give you a taste of my life from people that you want as mayor, white guys. My whole family's white. Now, I think I'm white, but I'm Central American Indian, Iberian, West Nigerian Jew. I was adopted in a very strict Irish Roman Catholic Republican military family. My dad was a badass from Brooklyn. He got stationed in Arizona at Luke Air Force Base. My dad had a lot of powerful friends. And that's why I'm running, to clear my pop's name. He's the best fucking man. He adopted 7 children. He was a Republican. That Republican, my dad, those guys are gone, man. And they've been replaced by Republicans that are just like Democrats, and they all work together, and they don't understand. This is their IT people have been fucking lying to them, because when they are asked, they say, "Oh, don't listen to him, man. I've done all the rankings, and look, let me show you some of the rankings." And but why is he there? I don't know. I can't answer that. But he shouldn't be there because all the things technically. He's saying, the reason why I'm there is because I'm an organic beast. And being an organic beast, man, my content rises over those that aren't listening to me, that act as if I don't matter, as if suing Stephanie O'Malley in 2011 to protect our ballot, our petition, the right to petition. And they have it so that you, even if you win, there's no way to get your name printed on the ballot. This is all by design. Paul Lopez coming in, changing the election date. You guys just erased all your history of your elections. Are you fucking that stupid? Your IT people didn't tell you this? Huh, Tim? You got a lot of soul searching to do, Tim. And what's going to happen is when Wall Street finds out about, like, CNN. You used to work for CNN, right, Tim? That's the fucking biggest clown group of people ever. And then they got fire Como, and Comer goes over to another news agency, and they're a joke. And the more they come out, the more that coffin of their existence to the dark web is realized. And you know, fuck, man, I've had so many bad people in my life, and I finally figured out it was because when my friends need something, they call me. When they want something, they call the other guy. And I don't want to be fucking mayor. I need to be mayor. And people don't want me to be mayor. They need me to be mayor. There's a difference between a want and need. And we're a needy fucking group of citizens that are all on our knees begging for Timmy to tell us the truth. Tell us the truth, Timmy. Come on, man. Do your fucking job, you mullet. So, Tim, it's going to be great watching you try to battle me. Because, see, I don't give a fuck, Tim. You have to give a fuck because you got lots of assets. You got lots of money. And your company has stock. And when Wall Street finds out, as soon as you try to wreck me, they're gonna start fucking looking and go, oh, fuck, this guy knows. We need to fucking dump CNN stock. Protect our money now, folks, because this is how big people fall. Because they think they know more than anybody else. And so when the right guy comes around trying to tell everybody, hey man, you're all wrong. Here's the metaverse. Oh, well, Timmy didn't tell us. I only believe what Timmy tells me. He's in wee land, folks. You heard me, Tim? We can either work this out like gentlemen, or we can all sing Kumbaya together, and you can open up your advertising channels to everybody, not just the Democrats. Because that's the only thing that's feeding you, Tim. Republicans aren't buying your shit. You want me to show you the algorithms, Tim? Want me to show you where you truly sit? Do you want to know your social credit system scores and rankings? You're at 4, Tim. And you've already told everybody. CBS 4 Tim. You're number 4, dude. So you think you use these words, and what happens is we can take your words and pattern match it to algorithms to find out what your fucking worth is. See, New York City didn't want our kind of applications, so they passed laws that you can't use artificial intelligence to pick your dream team. See, I've already ran all the people. I already know what the perfect team, and even if there's even Democrats that are going to be reelected, they're going to renounce their Democratic affiliation when I'm mayor. I'm going to make it so that we are all Denver, just what Mayor Michael Hancock says. We're going to make it so that when Cities of America comes to Denver, they're not going to see all the tent people. They're not going to be able to. Okay, are they wearing the same blinders that Timmy and his pals are? And when you say pals, all of his contacts in his emails, all the contacts in his phone. And once you're identified, you get put on a list, Tim. And it's a list that I'm on, everybody's on. But you're on a different list, Tim. And you're going to see, bro. You're going to fucking see. And if you don't do this, you're going to fucking ruin your whole entire financial future. And you'll be living in them tents that you don't want to talk about. You'll be living in those tents because you don't want to talk to a guy that you don't even fucking know. Because you're all listening to the bullshit. I've had some white people in my life really fuck my life up. I've never been fucked over by a Latino. Ever. In my whole entire fucking life. Never have I ever been betrayed by a Latino. Ever. Or a Latina. When I was in high school, I had fucking gangbanger chicks fucking want me. My ex-wife was a banger. My very first wife. You would never believe it. But they weren't banging like what the bangers are doing today. They were into the cars. They were into juicing the cars. They were into having parties and getting high and drinking. And I was in high school, folks. So nothing stops. The football team I was trying to be part of, but I was too tiny, but I was fucking them up with my moves and what I could do. Everybody got jealous. I used to go up to the bat. I could hit a fucking home run every time I got to bat when I was a little kid. You know what they started doing? They started throwing the ball and hitting me with it. Every time and my dad took care of that, but then I just said, fuck it, I don't want to play that. I don't like baseball. It's the most boring fucking game in the world. And I'm glad that everybody loves it because it creates money. So it just goes to show you, just because I don't like something doesn't mean other people. And when you think about the alumni interview with Tim, this is his ending. He doesn't even know it. They're going to laugh. They're going to be sniffing each other's assholes. And you know what I'm saying. This is what he does. And there's a long data in the cloud. You when you think about Westward and all the people that Patricia knows and all the years of conversations, she was indexed. I don't write nothing on her. I don't need to. I will if I have to. And then it'll start on her. Once you're identified, you're already identified, but there's another level of identification. Proclamation. Hear me? And I'm going to make sure that Denver never ever breaks up a family of fucking again. Because that's the game, Tim. You need to start talking the truth of what's going on in Denver, but you can't. Because you're on that nipple. You're sucking like a newborn. And I'm turning the spigots off on you, Tim. And I'm going to show Denver 7 and all these other news agencies what's coming. And I can't believe that you guys would rather believe the people you're working with than a guy you don't know. That makes sense, though, doesn't it? It does to me. Would I believe somebody I hired over somebody I just met? But when you look at the symbols and the structure of how I write things, it's all designed to be triggered when people talk, when people send emails, when people send text messages. That's beautiful. And Tim, I'd watch your mouth. I'd watch it. I'd act accordingly. I'd act within the scopes of the Speer Amendment and start talking the truth, start talking about the sidewalks, talk about the things that I've been talking about for 3 elections going on 4. And I battled some big people, and you guys want to talk about how, oh, uh, Anna, Anna left the race, so now she's supporting that worthless troll bitch, Lisa Calderon. She's the biggest manipulator of all people. And you know what that makes her different than everybody? She's an attorney. And all attorneys that walk that walk, you got to realize that when you've got that kind of license, you have a lot of authority. But you see, her authority is creating as many 501(c)(3)s that she can make money off of. And think that she matters in this conversation. And she matters to the people that'll keep voting for her. It don't matter if she went into a store and killed the fucking clerk with her boring fucking talk. And nothing. What platform is she going to use? I own cityandcountyofdenver.us, the most powerful platform in the fucking world right now. And I can show a judge. And judge be like, gee, man, we need to do this. Yeah, judge. Because when you see the applications that we have to turn our courts into a digital well-being of law, so that when people go see our judges are going to be compassionate. Our judges are going to guide a litigation in regards to when lies and stuff. So when now this is going to be beyond a lot of people's pay grade. But when all these lawyers have their cell phones in their pockets, even though they have it on silent or vibrate, they don't realize that they are in the most highest place you could ever be while being indexing. And you can match the voices with the GPS, with the cell tower pings, and the court docket, and the judge's voice, crosstalk indexing. So now you've got all the authority people in the room, and it's already been verified. Now everything that they say is being picked up on real time. And then you could take that content that's being picked up on real time with a microphone within the court. And I do a little whoop-de-woo. The judge will be able to see who's telling the truth and who's lying. This is amazing. High probability. And until somebody can dispute it, but when you see it, it's just hard to believe. It's too good to be true, folks. But we're going to teach our judges to work smarter, not harder. We're going to teach our judges how to control their own metaverses, because they too are indexed. And they're indexed at the highest level you can possibly think of, because, oh my God, they're judges. They outrank the attorneys. And because it's their courtroom, artificial intelligence index these guys. And there's nothing they can do about it. Nothing. So what they can do about it is figure out what they need to do to protect the privacy of the people, witnesses. I mean, this is, you can go into the cloud and get anything you want, folks. You want to talk about the dark web, let's talk about the cloud. But people don't talk about the cloud because they haven't raised their knowledge bar to educate themselves on something new, that something that's trending, because it's not their people that did it, right, Tim? So nothing personal, Tim. And I understand that you all have to do what you have to do. But I'm telling you, everything that you guys could possibly do, I've already ran it through wizardknowsalltellsall.com. And we got most of this stuff from Google crystalball.com. We own googlebusinessdeveloper.com, disinformationczar.us, cityandcountyofdenver.us, cityandcountyofdenver.com, .net.org. This is true metaverse expansion for the city of Denver, to where we will at one time be all Denver, to match the words of the failed decay mayor Michael Hancock. which he can come out smelling like a rose if he just admits a few things, but he would never admit he'd done anything wrong. He's always apologizing, but he never really apologizes. And this is how Denver's been indexed for the last 10 years. And how do I know? I indexed it. And this is why when my name's on stuff, or some of my identifiers that are white labeled, do you know what white label is? Ask your folks if they know what white label is. And then you got the anonymous label, where people who understand, who don't like the ill will of governments or whatever they got to do what they do. Other countries right now are starting to step into our elections, and there ain't nothing that Paul Lopez can do. The sooner we can kick his ass to the sidewalk, okay, the more free. Don't let that fucking dude collect 2 pensions. He's already collected $94,000. If he's elected one time, if he's not reelected, he'll get half his pension. So he'll make $94,000 plus $70,000 for the rest of his fucking life to go eat taco sauce. And sometimes get unruly, right, Paul? Right, Paulie? You're unruly. Viva la raza. Viva la democracia. Viva on crushing Paul Lopez. 5280. The most worthless fucking dude. And I could show that to a judge too. And I'm going to teach the citizens of Denver. This is how we're going to get our college graduation numbers up. We're going to keep our acceptance low, our graduation up. If you've got really bad graduation ratings, and your acceptance rate is really high, that's not good balance for a social credit system, score or ranking. But see, none of these people know what this is because they're 12 fucking years behind the time. Instead of looking for things to make everybody move forward, they look for things to keep everybody down. See, Tim is a downtrotter. He's a white man downtrotter. He just happens to be white. But crying about why there's no white man. To get the white people all together, but most of the white people in Denver are fucking Democrats. And see why he tries to cover their tracks of the support for Kelly Brow. Just look at it, folks. Look at the leader of putting it in there. And there's some people that are not even talking about the elections because I send this to everybody, Tim. And if they tell you no, they're fucking lying to you. And I haven't sent it to everybody. That's just a bloviated thing that how you guys talk. But I'm going to correct it now because I use terms that you guys use that are now negative keywords. Tim, did you know you're now a negative keyword in my metaverse? So every time you talk, everything you conspire with your general sales manager, he's next. You guys are going to lose all your fucking money, dude. No bullets, no threats. Just pure 100% unadulterated facts. So you're either on the side of the citizens of Denver, Tim, or you're going to the dark fucking web, bro. And all your advertising money and all that shit, man, because it's going to happen, because they're going to know, because they're all learning it. People are starting to talk about it. We can't live like this, man. We have to leave our fucking political ideologies and who we are at the door. And everybody come in, like a tavern. That's what Tark Wayne would want. Who's Tark Wayne? TarkWayne.com, I think it is. Anyways, there's some big changes coming, and I just hope Timmy is as smart as that he makes himself out to be. But I can tell you right now, if we were in front of a judge and judge seen this, he wouldn't ask Tim because Tim wouldn't know what to fucking say, because he's limited on what his meta tags, matching his meta experiences, match to what he's actually done, to what he can actually have done, which is nothing. And here it is. You think Tim Wieland, with his name and all power, this would be packed. It's packed with my stuff. And well, this isn't got. This is an alumni interview with Tim Wieland. See, I have a problem with I and E. I don't know how to pronounce it. So I know there's other dyslexia people out there. I'm chronic dyslexic, but I can read things backwards, sideways, straight line um, reading, and I can tell you anything you need to know. And this is how I used to read in school, and they would be like, well, no one can read that fast. Well, they're like, did you read the book? And I'd say, well, sorta. Not in your way, but in my way. And I'd show them my way, and they go, that ain't reading. That ain't reading. Look where I am now. It is reading. It's just more scientific. And that's what I'm going to teach other people. It's not speed reading. This is different. Where you can just scan a page and then start writing. And see, that's what attention deficit disorder is. My retention on things, but when I get it and I can write it down, but my writing's bad. So I talk. And what has now the absolute authority over everybody's identification over the internet is your voice. So, like, if you're cheating on your wife or your boyfriend, or your two guys are cheating on each other, and two girls cheating on each other, or a guy and his dog, or the girl and her dog, or girl and a hippo, and a guy and an elephant, or a giraffe, bestiality kind of things, interspecies erotica. That's next. That's what Denver's going to go for. We want to elect the first rainbow bright kid that can have a right to have sex with that elephant. Now we're going to be able to say we just elected our first rainbow gray. You see how stupid this is? That's why it don't work in the mortal world, man. On the internet. The mortal world's internet. There is none. Because the mortal world's full of deception and lies and con artists and mean people, and now for the betterment of the internet, we've had to divide it into two. And neither one's right or wrong. That's your choice. Internet of Things or dark web. It's whatever it is you do is what will put you in one of those realms. You can't be in both. Those days are over. And so when Tim tries to get his IT people together, I already know what they're going to be talking about. And if they don't say anything and they just write it out, but yet they got to talk about other things, they can't hide. Everything they do, everything, and then what artificial intelligence does is it sums up that person, friend or foe, to the industry that we're talking about, exploiting about. And this is what 18 to 38-year-olds need to realize. That I remember when war was, before the Vietnam War, I was little, my dad was military. He once military, always military. They don't get that shit out of their mind. I believe that's another post-traumatic stress. My son's in the Army. He's in the Special Forces. Awesome young man. And we need to pull our heads out of our digital cracks, folks. Because the people that think they're smart in Denver, they're about to hand you all the big digital dick. And that ain't what you think it is. What do you think a dick is? Remember back in the day? The dick, the reporter, the police, the investigator, they were dicks. And that's what's coming back. Because the journalism is so whitewashed right now. And it's whitewashed by guys like Tim asking the fucking question, why can't we have a white man as mayor? Just to fight off the real true storyline of the people that they're backing. I mean, if you just do @9 or like 9 News Denver or CBS Colorado, at CBS Colorado. On January 1, it goes into hyperdrive. And we start taking ballots on the 14th of December. It was January. I got an email, folks. I'm going to show it. Where it used to be, and then they do, because I was telling them, man, you didn't. Yeah, now you have to move everything else back so we can stay within. And I got these emails where they're telling me, no, we're going to do it on January, and then they went and did their law thing and their wooty woo. And the good news, folks, is that those that are just so fucking sick of it, we get to leave because we can't stay in this town because then we become them, and then everything that I wrote or worked on is bullshit. So what keeps me here is the elections. But as soon as the elections are over, I already know the outcome. And as of today, nothing's changed. The same people are still trying to whittle. Those 18 and 38-year-olds, they need to worry about going to war. And they got to worry about that Democrat children go to war too. And it's strange because Democrats don't mind giving up their kids to go get killed for party. That's the patriotic thing to do. That's the ultimate sacrifice of our young children that they've used as pawns. Is death on the battlefield, coming home in a body bag while mom and dad finally realized that their kids were used as pawns from the day they stepped into the Denver public schools to the day they die. Coming home in a body bag or getting on drugs. They don't teach kids about drugs. You want to know a story? Oh, don't tell you that one. But they have a lot of things there that to snitch on people, like that safe to tell in high school, in the schools. Kids are using that to turn in kids, get them in trouble. And the adults, they play them. But kids are smarter than what anybody thinks, man. And when they hate you, they can ruin you, man. They're learning. They learn from the adults around. And that's what our adversaries and our allies are looking at. And that's why China's slowly just giving Denver and the rest of the United States TikTok and all these other apps that are going to be able to shut your fucking phones off. Did you know that, folks? Do you know that, Tim? Did you know that the apps that you have the ability to shut your fucking phone down? But see, people don't read all the terms and conditions. Go ask Scott Cardenas. $4 million Oracle boy working for some other outfit, probably doesn't even know that he got charged $4 million. So they have to make sure that they read their terms and conditions, or like Denver paid $4 million. Do you know what we could have done with $4 million, folks? But these people don't know the value of a dollar. They only know sweat equity, inequity, diversion of funds, and 501(c)(3)s that are nonpartisan Democratic hacks. Breaking the RICO Act, man. And I've had lawyers tell me that. But they won't say anything because they have cases before judges and they don't want to be canceled. See, those are people that have things. Those are people that have a nice life. Those are the people that don't have to worry about money. And that's why their worlds are about to be fucking rocked like you never. You think COVID? Wait until Wall Street finds out, folks. Wait till they find out that voice identification is a fucking reality. And that God gave us free will to do whatever the fuck we want. Pure freedom. Only to be held accountable later. And so if you're not a Christian, ask Mark Zuckerberg. Okay? Did he pray to God, to Jesus? I don't think so. He had no signal to God because he don't believe in God. Do you know what where Mark Zuckerberg is? Mark Zuckerberg. It had nothing to do with God, had nothing to do with religion. Had to do with smart fucking dude being able to do smart fucking things. Unfortunately, his weakest link that started his whole fucking conversation And until he fixes this, they're doomed, man. They're just gonna keep talking, and then what happens? Someone else is gonna come up, and all those big Zuckerbergs and everything, he's gonna fall. And you think, wow, whatever happened to Mark Zuckerberg? Well, not only was he a brilliant man, he didn't have any experience on knowing how to keep things moving at a nice, do the right thing pace. So when they came out and said that Facebook changed its name, their Meta, and got everybody thinking that, oh, Metaverse is the new internet. No, it's fucking not. Don't take away the fucking hard work of the guy that invented the internet. Because it takes the World Wide Web. It takes the World Wide Web to get to the metaverse. Unless you're playing a video game, then you need a video player. What's a video player? Or do you need an immersive player? These are the questions Tim needs to go and ask so he can save his citizens of Denver. Because what's going to happen once it happens, he's going to be working at McDonald's. All of them, all these people that think they are interfering with our elections, not talking about the right people, so that they can sell advertising to everybody. So what that tells you is they're using the money from all their other stations in the United States to destroy Denver and keep us suppressed, keep us locked up like sheeple. You heard me, Tim? The shoe's on the other foot now, troll bitch.